The upcoming 7-star Greninja raid was just announced. If it's anything like the previous 7-star raids, it's so hard that you basically need extremely specialized Pokemon to bring to them specifically for that raid. Today I'll show you raid builds that are likely going to be very good against Greninja, and luckily, a lot of them are also very good outside of Greninja. First, let's talk about what Greninja might have, and then Pokemon to bring for him. There's a reason that Greninja was banned to Ubers in Generation 6, and this is because Greninja gets a very diverse move pool full of very good moves of many different types that he can usually use to combat his counters. And if we assume that Greninja takes the bare minimum for his Stab and Tera type, Water, Dark, and Poison, then there is nothing in the game that resists all three of those moves. The only exception to this is Dry Skin Toxicroak, who is not known for his bulk. This is all to say that this will not be like the Cinderace raid, where there are various Pokemon that can resist the combination of fire and fighting, so you're at least not taking a stab boosted move. In this raid, you will get hit and you will get hit hard. There are very likely not going to be any solo strats. You will probably need to work with the team. Additionally, Greninja is historically a mixed attacker. You will be taking both physical and special hits, so you can't just specialize on one side. Now first, I'm planning for the worst case scenario, right? Some people are thinking about Water Shuriken, what about Chilling Water? Like, I would love for him to only have Water Shuriken or Chilling Water. I'm gonna go with the worst case scenario of Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, Gunk Shot, Ice Beam. There are different options with different damage types or accuracy, so like Hydro Pump or Surf, Dark Pulse or Night Slash, Gunk Shot or Tera Blast Poison. We can expect the Greninja to not be modest or adamant. He's probably going to be naive or hasty. This is because naive and hasty are the default best natures for fast mixed attackers. Both are plus speed. Naive and hasty are minus special defense and minus defense respectively. So in terms of speed, the magic number to beat is going to be 308, and we will get into that soon. In terms of surviving Greninja, since nothing will be resisting the combination of Water, Dark, Poison, except the frail Toxicroak, the best Pokemon that we can bring are just going to be not weak to those moves and have a lot of mixed bulk. In terms of coverage options, Greninja has several of them. He has Ice Beam, he also has Extra Sensory, Low Kick, Grass Knot, Aerial Ace. And this list is not exhaustive. He gets Rock Slide, Brick Break, Ice Punch. He's got options. A lot of what to bring will be more obvious when his final moveset is finally released. But the bigger concern are the higher base power moves of Extra Sensory, Low Kick, Grass Knot, Ice Beam, because these are not stab, and Protean does not work on terrestrial Pokemon. Usually Hydro Pump and Gunk Shot wind up becoming a lot stronger than the other coverage moves because they're high base power and stab. The last move on Greninja that's extremely concerning is Taunt, because Greninja is extremely fast and he can potentially taunt the whole party. And I'll discuss countermeasures for this later. Before we talk about support Pokemon, let's talk about the win conditions. These are the Pokemon that will be landing the killing blow onto Greninja. We have a couple of options and most of them are physical. First, we have a very standard Swords Dance Garchomp set with Life Orb, Swords Dance, Earthquake. The other two moves are mostly irrelevant. The trick with Garchomp is that we need this specific spread. Remember that 308 is the magic number for Greninja's speed? What we're gonna do here is run Jolly with 164 speed EVs to get 309. You can potentially run max speed, but we don't need max speed. We only need 309 points to outspeed Greninja by 1 point. Why is it helpful to outspeed Greninja? Because you can get off your Swords Dance before a potential taunt. You don't get flinched by Dark Pulse. Outspeeding Greninja means you take one less hit and your Swords Dance isn't blocked by an Ice Beam freeze. You cannot run Adamant for this. Adamant max speed gets 303 points, which is not enough to outspeed Greninja. You need to run Jolly. Quick correction, because I mixed up the EVs between the two programs. EVs go into special defense and not into HP. You'll see why later. If Greninja has Ice Beam, which is obviously bad for Garchomp, we can go for a similar strat with Gallade. We will go for Swords Dance, Life Orb, and a Sharpness boosted Psycho Cut. Gallade has no hope of outspeeding Greninja, so we're going to go max attack, maximum defense, because the hardest hitting move we're going to be taking is a Stab Gunk Shot. Both Gallade and Garchomp do not require a lot of coordination with your team, and they don't require like specific strats. The next one will. Crocodile. Crocodile can run Pasho Berry or Choice Band. It kind of depends on what Greninja does on turn 0. But the idea is to have an allied Pokemon use a guaranteed crit move on Crocodile to activate Anger Point, which immediately puts you at +6. Then we are running maximum attack, maximum speed, Jolly Nature, so we can just barely outspeed the Greninja. Then we go for +6 Earthquake. All the other moves here are irrelevant. We take Pasho Berry if Greninja opens with Hydro Pump mostly, but otherwise we can run Choice Band here instead. The partner for Crocodile is going to need to be Super Luck Honchkrow. Super Luck Scope Lens Night Slash will guaranteed crit on the Crocodile. For this, we're going to want minimum attack on Honchkrow with 0 attack IV and an attack down nature, either Calm or Bold. We want max HP and then mix into both defenses. Both the Crocodile and Honchkrow sets are generic sets that will work for raiding outside of Greninja. Another idea people have been throwing around has also been Paldean Tauros. Same idea, we want 309 speed, maximum attack otherwise, Jolly, and we use Anger Point again, same as Crocodile. The difference is we are going for Flare Blitz. You might say that Greninja isn't weak to Flare Blitz. This is because one of the support Pokemon we're going to talk about is Koraidon, and in the Sun, with a Choice Band Flare Blitz boost, Tauros Paldea can one-shot the Greninja. The last physical offensive Pokemon we can talk about is going to be Iron Hands, which is going to be like a standard Iron Hands, but with Earthquake. Earthquake, Belly Drum, Booster Energy, and then everything else should be standard what you see on screen. People have also been throwing around a lot of sword power strategies with Armor Rouge, Slowbro, etc. The only one that I found to maybe be kind of consistent would be Bronzong. The issue is that a lot of these psychic types are going to be weak to the stab Dark Pulse. Of the sword power users, Bronzong has two main things going for him. One is his large amount of bulk, so he can actually take a Dark Pulse to the face, and Recycle, which has a much smaller distribution in this game. The idea is that when Greninja hits you with Dark Pulse, you activate your weakness policy and you recycle the weakness policy, so you get a second weakness policy boost. Then with those two weakness policies, you go for stored power. Before I go too far, let's do some calcs, because a lot of YouTubers just like promote sets that look promising without doing the calculation to see that they don't work. I'm going to show you exactly how these sets work. Historically, for 7-star raids, Charizard had a 25 times HP multiplier, and Cinderace had a 30 times multiplier, which threw off a lot of our calculations. So just keep in mind when we're looking at the damage that we're doing, the magic number is going to be 2500% or 3000%, depending on exactly how much health they choose to give Greninja. Also remember that we're going to be assuming that Greninja always gets to -6 defense or special defense from your support teammates. So first, Garchomp. So here's our set. We have 1 Swords Dance and we have 3 Screeches on the opposing Greninja. Earthquake doesn't quite kill. We need a Helping Hand, and with Helping Hand, we do 2506% minimum. This means that this Garchomp will guaranteed kill the Greninja if it has the 25x multiplier, and if you have both Attack Cheer and Helping Hand, then Garchomp will kill on turn 2, whether it's 25 times or 30 times. Here I just made a quick correction to maximum SPDF, and here you see that if Greninja does not take Ice Beam, then we are taking Hydro Pump like a champ. We only have to take 1 Hydro Pump, and whatever turn 0 move there is, Garchomp will very comfortably kill Greninja without dying. Now, if Greninja takes Ice Beam, that's a different story, because Garchomp will probably not survive a turn 0 move, then Ice Beam would probably be a roll, and even if the turn 0 move is something like Toxic Spikes or something, then an Ice Beam crit will guaranteed kill Garchomp. Now, if we use a Yache Berry instead, we can completely survive the Ice Beam. I put Guerrilla Tactics here so we can simulate the effect of the Attack Cheer. And you see that we need both the Helping Hand and the Attack Cheer to be able to kill the 25x Greninja, and for the 30x Greninja, it's a roll. This is to say that even if Greninja takes Ice Beam, it's possible to play around it with a Garchomp, as long as the Greninja is the 25 times HP variant. The other option is Gallade, which after Swords Dance and Helping Hand does 28 times the Greninja's health. This kills the 25x variant, but not the 30x. To kill the 30x, you need Helping Hand and Attack Cheer. The main concern with Gallade is surviving Gunk Shot. This will require team support for Gallade to survive the turn 0, turn 1, and turn 2 hits. Banded Crocodile Earthquake can KO the 25x variant on turn 1. This is with only 2 Screeches instead of 3. Crocodile could die to a turn 0 Hydro Pump, which we can avoid with a Pasho Berry. With a Pasho Berry, the Crocodile just like relaxes and waits for the team to get 3 Screeches and give 1 Helping Hand or Attack Cheer, and then it's a one-shot on both variants of Greninja. Next, Iron Hands, which I'm so sure that everyone is going to run anyway. Belly Drum Earthquake kills the 25x variant and requires Helping Hand to kill the 30x variant. However, Iron Hands cannot take 2 hits from Greninja after the Belly Drum. Iron Hands will need team support to survive. Next we have Bronzong, 2 weakness policies, stored power. This straight up kills the 25x variant and requires Helping Hand or Attack Cheer to kill the 30x variant. This kills turn 2 if the CPU keeps using Dark Pulse or if you can coordinate flings from your allies. The main concern here is Dark Pulse, where Bronzong will need team support to survive that, and is also susceptible to being flinched. Now that we know the win conditions, let's talk about the support Pokemon that you're going to need to bring. Because people will likely use a wide variety of different strategies, and your choice of support will depend on what other people choose to bring, I'm going to be giving you recommendations that are very flexible, that can be used for many different strategies. First, we have a very standard Muck, Acid Spray, or Screech, Helping Hand, Taunt, maximum special defense, maximum HP, wide lens so that Screech is more accurate. Muck has very good mixed bulk and also has the capability of taking Fling if you want to go for Fling strats. Umbreon is the tried and tested, max HP and then mixed into the defenses. Screech, Fake Tears, Helping Hand, Taunt. Umbreon will not let you down and doesn't really struggle that much with low kick either. Umbreon also has the ability to bring screens. Corviknight's another idea, fully specially defensive, max HP, max BDF. Screech or Fake Tears, Taunt, Light Screen / Reflect, and Wide Lens for a more accurate Screech. Magneton does the exact same thing, Screech, Metal Sound, Light Screen, Eerie Impulse. The main benefit of Magneton is Eerie Impulse, which allows you to greatly reduce Greninja's special attack stat to help your team survive. If we go for Magneton, we want Eviolite, which makes him slightly bulkier than Magnezone, who's kind of like on the cusp of being usable. We can instead choose to go Magnezone, which frees up your item slot for something like a Covert Cloak or a Citrus Berry, and gives you Helping Hand. Which one you want is up to you. They both have their trade-offs. Here we also have Support Koraidon, which is also going to be very good. Koraidon just needs a couple of speed EVs in order to reach that 309 speed threshold to outspeed Greninja and then taunt it before it can taunt the team. Koraidon is also unique in that his Sun will protect your allies from water type attacks. Screech and Helping Hand will also always help us win. Breaking Swipe just to reduce the enemy's attack. Water Absorb Clodsire is only for special strats with Acid Spray, Chilling Water, Helping Hand. Clodsire is mostly just very bulky and very safe for Greninja if you are going for special strats. Other supports include Eviolite Tinkatuff, which is bulky and can survive this pretty safely. Helping Hand, Fake Tears, Skitter Smack, and Light Screen, mostly to reduce the Greninja's special attack stat, even through shields. We run maximum special defense to counter Hydro Pump because we're immune to Gunk Shot and we resist Dark Pulse / Night Slash. Oinkologne Female has one job, and that one job is Aroma Veil. Aroma Veil blocks the effects of Taunt for your entire team, so if Greninja taunts on turn 0, Oinkologne is the only answer and will completely hard counter that. Also with Oinkologne, you will not need to worry about taunting a Greninja to counter a taunt. That said, Oinkologne's utility is kind of at best. Chilling Water, Mud Slap, Sunny Day, just kind of like whatever moves. And this EV spread on screen is the one that maximizes her bulk for this raid. She can take a couple of hits. She can take a few hits, but she's mostly there for Aroma Veil. Covert Cloak to block flinches, freezes, and poison. Next, Eviolite Chansey, whose main job is to provide life support for the team with Life Dew spam. We go Eviolite, maximum physically defensive. We do not bring Blissey. Blissey does not have enough physical bulk for this. We want Chansey. Healer can help get rid of allied status effects like freeze or poison, just like passively sometimes. Thunder Wave makes Greninja's turns less efficient. Helping Hand to go for game, and Light Screen to help your team further not die. Lastly, Medicham will work for any physical strategy that does not include Iron Hands because you cannot skill swap Iron Hands. What we do is we skill swap Pure Power onto the offensive Pokemon to double their attack power. If Anger Point is involved, wait for your ally to get the Anger Point boost before giving them Pure Power, Helping Hand to go for game, and Screens for survival. Max HP, mixed defenses for the damage, and Covert Cloak mostly to block flinches and freezes. Of all the supports I told you, Muck, Umbreon, Magneton / Magnezone are very generic, useful supports outside of Greninja rating. And just for completeness, here's the calcs that show you how we will survive. Koraidon takes everything just fine. He doesn't like the Ice Beam, but 35% max is alright. Chansey takes 27% maximum from Gunk Shot. Clodsire will only really die to Ice Beam, taking 27% max. Honchkrow takes just under half from Gunk Shot. Luckily, we only really need Honchkrow for one turn. Magneton takes 28% max from Hydro Pump. Oinkologne takes 34% max from Gunk Shot. Tickatuff takes 24% max from Hydro Pump. She's definitely a safer pick than Clodsire and provides more utility than Clodsire for this. And Classic Umbreon takes 20% max from Hydro Pump. All these supports will survive long enough to do their job. These Pokemon have other options that I did not mention in this guide, like Umbreon could take Snarl, for example, but the idea is to recommend Pokemon that have the core moves that you will really want, and as other people pick specific Pokemon to fight Greninja, then these Pokemon that I'm recommending to you will have the option to be able to adapt and work to it. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you around. Later.